Okay, let's go back. You can see. All right. So the assignment advice. The one thing I want to say about all of the assignments in this unit is that you're noticing they get progressively more conversational. I know they start out pretty conversational, but these get even smaller, and there are a lot of one-handed signs of two-hand signs that will be easy to miss. So be prepared to watch them a couple of times. And think to yourself what you would say if you were talking about having these conversations in English, because that may help trigger some of these. So conversation starter, the first batch of them. Remember, we're talking about fruits and vegetables, so this doesn't mean donut. It means the other, right? They also talk about throwing it in a blender. The second one, the first set of conversation starters are actually then patterned in the second. So there's a copy. You'll note the same basic questions. I hope this is a trend they start to do, which will make them easier, but I may be getting my hopes up. So it's if you were king of the world, and he signs if you were king, and then he does like earth, boom, and you're up on top. He also starts out and ends with this, and it's like twisting your Adam's apple. It's a sign in ASL for curious, and oftentimes people will say, "I'm curious," but it's more like it literally means that. But when we say that in English, it diminishes the meaning. Oftentimes, it's a very serious question. Why'd you do that? So it can range from just curious, why'd you do that, to a police detective going, so why did you kill him, right? So it can have a range of meaning. So that's how he sets up the if you were king. He also signs forbid, against the law. What would you make forbidden or against the law, verboten, any of a number of different things, prohibited, and eliminate. If you could eliminate one, in this case, it's one fruit. And then he fingerspells durian, jackfruit, and explains because it stinks. It's all pretty obvious. I just want to make sure that as it goes by, you got it. And then Justin responds as well, but it makes sense. For 1.3, the third question, they're asking what fruit could you eat all day and not mind? And you've seen us use this in class for, do you mind? I remember lecturing about it. So do you mind? Same thing. I don't mind. Oh, I don't mind. I could eat that all day, right? Don't mind. Couple different signs for avocado. And he points to, here's the avocado itself. So what is it? And then Justin says he studied it, and then he does under fruits or under berry. So like the classification is under. It's under the term of that. And also he does classification or group, family. Response, true. Really? We know it for true and false, but it can also be, really? Are you sure? Right? I'm sure. I'm sure. And Justin also signs understand, kind of like but understand, it's something like a little bit different, right? So there's that hesitation of, but understand this. And the other guy, this is where it kind of starts to spin off into really conversational. Oh, I didn't know. Interesting normally is two hands doing the 5-8 move, boom, doing like. If you can do it with one in context, it's not like, I like that. It's actually, I didn't know that, right? Interesting. And then 1.5, eat often or eat regular, try. try. Sometimes you'll see it with T's, but people are now starting to just do it with the A. Benefit. Ooh, I'll take that, put that in my pocket. Benefit. And this will be used in a number of conversations from now on. The benefits are fiber, he has to fingerspell it, good digestion. So it's like washing or grinding. Good digestion, right? Grinding up your food. And then vitamin. So they're pretty simple. I think when you watch the conversation a few times, they will make sense. Once again, for the second set of these questions, really? True? Okay. Same thing if you were king of the world. Then onions, bad breath, stinks. Blah, blah, blah. And then benefits, there's a long list of benefits and one negative. I believe he signs negative. So the last thing he signs is, I think the opposite of you. I disagree. Okay. Not mind all day. Same thing with eating a vegetable all day. Tomato, remember there's a couple different ways of signing that. And now they're talking about, is a tomato a fruit or a vegetable? And he signs blah, 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 blah. And this means people having arguments or disagreements about, verbal disagreements as opposed to fight. Lots of discussion about, is it a fruit or a vegetable? And then they signed flower. And I believe they just always fingerspell seed. So they're trying to talk about that. It seems an odd discussion, but okay. For 2.5, cold, if you've got the sniffles, if you've got a cold, that's the sign for the illness cold. And then try again. And again, these start to get more and more conversational. They get a little hard to pick up on. They're only 1 point, so it's not like I'm giving away much as I give you some of these answers. But don't just answer the question. Make sure you understand what they're signing. If you don't understand what they're signing, go back. We can look at it in class. You can ask Darlene in the lab, something. The most important thing is that you understand what they're signing and can reproduce it yourself. So the two worksheets, take note, on each of these, all the measurements are spelled. Cup, half cup, 3/4, right? They're all finger spelled. And I believe you also are seeing headers, like here's the rest, here's what we're making, and then explanation. So there should be lots of context clues provided. So soup, they fingerspell soup. This is one sign for soup. This is the most generally, here's the bowl, here's the spoon, and soup. Lemon, salt, and pepper. Push it, right? So salt, pepper. It's just a P, pepper. Salt and pepper. Salt and pep. I hate that. Chicken and herbs. Mashed potatoes or mashed potatoes. Well, potato, but mash. Green onion. Mozzarella. M-O-Z-Z. Mozzarella. M-O-Z-Z. Don't bother. You don't have to bother fingerspelling the last. Fingerspell casserole, Roma, and even garlic powder. We knew garlic from the vocab, but garlic powder. And then the next section. So the first section was recipes, and you're talking about what was added and how much. Now with this, the second worksheet, they're going to describe a fruit or a vegetable, and you choose which one from pictures. So review your colors and shapes. I'm just going to say sour for 2.3. And note how they describe that something is hairy. That's all I'm going to say about this one. It's pretty easy. They also are constantly describing like smooth-skinned fruit, as opposed to the hairy fruit. There. And then covered in seeds. Pretty much a giveaway, but we've used this for lots of museums. Remember? So there's a ton of them, and one point into each and every one. Same thing, there's lots of seeds on the outside. So that is really all the advice that needs to be given on the assignments. Review all the vocab before diving into them. And I'd say keep what's the sign handy on the side in case you've got a question. Great, that's the advice.